Wow. Hello, paradigm shifters. Welcome. Wow. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Paradigm Shifters. And yes, we have been since 2020, a dedicated, global, growing global community, dedicated to shift and uplift the planet. Yep, I said planet. And I'm so, isn't that cool? When I first started, like, planet, planet, and I'm like, yeah, planet. It's not just about me. It's not just about my town. It's the entire planet because we are global. And I love that, in fact, we started in 2020 where we were starting to feel that oneness, feel that oneness. So, okay. So, yeah, we are growing. We're like well over 1,500 people from 56 countries right now. And I wanted to start, January 2023, we've been having guest speakers on the topic of peace. And so this is the finals, January 31st, 2023. Wow, do you believe that? Believe that,
I know it. It's just
River? And so anyway, River, my good buddy, my tree hugger friend, from way up northeast from where northwest from where I am in California. Um, I wanted to have her come in and talk about nature and peace with the trees. But before we start, I want to take a time out to read a little meditation, and then I'm going to turn it over to River. And this is a meditation on world peace. And the affirmation is, I am a presence of peace in the world. Centered in spirit, I hold a vision of a world at peace, where cooperation and compassion rule, and we respect our differences, living in harmony with each other and nature. When I'm willing to be a presence of peace in the world, I open to a world of bountiful beauty and abundance. When conflicts and suffering arise, instead of focusing on what's wrong, I pray and open to the possibilities of harmony. So with that, I would love to introduce you to my good friend, River Easter. I've known you forever, I feel, right, River?
yes,
We've been on this journey for many years. And
many.
one thing I love about River is her down to earth, her connection to her environment. And I wanted to have you come in here and tell us a little about yourself, where you live, why is it, what's your why? Why is it important for you to presence that peace? So come on in here, River. It's all yours.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Judy, for inviting me. And I am totally honored to be in your presence, to be part of your, sphere of people, because you are such an amazing human being or spiritual being on this world, shedding, giving your light to the world. So I just have to say, thank you, thank you, thank you for being in my life and being here on the planet. Yeah, you are awesome. And we all come here, right? We all have our different paths about, getting to our path. And I just love my path is like, like this. However, there's all these things that have really connected. And if you look back on your life, you can see that there's things that have connected you together. Or that, are really important. And I love the way that you said, that you want to make a difference. This is paradigm shifters for the planet. And there's no coincidence that we are here, because it's my mission, and it's been my mission from a long time ago. And I always thought, wow, that seems such a, above me goal, right? Or whatever, but it's true. My mission is to raise the consciousness on the planet. And there's many ways that we can do that. And I've done it. And one of the things that I firmly believe in is that it all happens from within. So no matter where you are, like years ago when I was in forestry, and there was a woman, and back then we were considered kind of kooky, right? She was this kooky woman. She went and she wanted to save the redwoods. And at that time, I was sort of learning. So I was young. I was new to the industry of forestry. I have my undergrad in forest management. However, I had one of my professors. He actually wrote the linear programming model for the entire Forest Service, and I kind of grokked that, and he took me under his wing, and I became one of his minions, right? Because a lot of people just didn't understand the modeling, but I did for some reason. But anyway, so I was learning all about forestry and what all the issues were, and what the facts were, really, like what had happened, the history. And anyway, there was a big movement for old growth back then, and to save these old trees and the redwoods. And so Miss Butterfly, she was called Julia Butterfly. She's famous now, right? But back then she was like this kook that basically was in a tree, and she stayed there for I don't know how many months, so that they wouldn't log this amazing ecosystem. And she had this, really conviction that this was really important. And nobody knew her, right? And she wasn't doing it for the fame. She was doing it because she really believed that these trees were important and we needed to save them. And fast forward all these years, of course, she did make a difference, and that group of people made a huge difference in the inroads that they made in really saying, hey, this is important to us as a society, for the health of our planet. We need to save these trees. And as it is, I mean, it's really important, because as more and more fires burn, we lose more and more of these amazing trees. And trees are so important, ecosystems are so important to us. They're important to biodiversity. I mean, there's just all these things that we can go to. But I think the most important thing that trees and forests and nature bring to us is the amazing amount of peace that you can feel when you walk through a nature, any part of nature. I mean, there's one thing, if you've never gone to the redwoods, go. It is by far a bucket list item where you can actually wind through these magnificent creatures, and really they are beings. They are alive. We may not know it, we may not understand it in saying, oh, that these are actual sentient beings, maybe, but they're beings nonetheless, and you can feel their energy. And just going and being in reverence to that entire structure, that entire ecosystem that's all around you, and the perfection of it. It's just there's perfection in nature. And so then I just reflect, that going back to Julia Butterfly, we all have, something inside us that's important to us. And so the good news is we don't have to be Julia Butterfly, right? We don't have to go sit on a tree, but who we're being in the moment, going out and, taking care of a piece of land, or even if it's just a little spot in your garden, that is going to make a difference. And I named my company Ripple Effect Consulting years ago when I first started consulting and organizational change, is that who you're being ripples out to all the different systems that we're part of. So if you want to make change and you want to have more peace in the world, then you be that peace in the world. And in your actions with others, in your words with others. And so we all have the ability to create change from within. I don't have to go out and climb in a tree or do things that I don't necessarily want to do. I mean, if that's my calling, I can do that. But you can do that from within. People are always like, well, how can I make a difference in the world? Like I have to go out and demonstrate or do this and do that. And it's like, no, you can create that change all from within.
It is so true. I'm so psyched that you brought that up. There's a practice that I do when I wake up in the morning. I go outside first thing and feel grounded. And I stand there and breathe, and I imagine my legs, my feet are the root system, and imagine them going down and being strong all the way up. And then I go like this, and my hands are the branches and the birds are out there. But it's like I love the fact that you said you can do it wherever you are and feel grounded. And I just imagine myself as a tree sometimes. And there's also in Texas, there's live oaks, which are these beautiful climbing trees. And I love to watch little kids learn how to climb those. So anyway, keep going. I just wanted to throw that out. It's very
no,
powerful.
I love it. Yeah. And as far as trees go, my dad, he was a rocket scientist, and then he decided he wanted to develop a camping club. Anyway, through his own route, we ended up out in the middle of the nowhere when I was a teenager, a budding teenager. And we didn't have electricity, we didn't have running water. And so I kind of grew up feral. I had my horse. I rode my horse in the woods. That was my best friend, right? And we didn't really have like a lot of ability, except for at school, to really connect. And I didn't know anybody because we'd been transplanted, you know how that was. And so the woods, I grew up in the woods. I mean, really in the woods. We still have that property in our family. It's 126 acres and it's beautiful. And then so I've always really connected with nature. And I've, lived in the city. I don't necessarily want to live out in the middle of nowhere anymore. So I live in a small community up in Northern California. It's called Nevada City, California. It's really awesome. It's near Lake Tahoe, but it really nourishes my soul. I have trees all around me. And I absolutely love being here. But there's also like in Sacramento, it has these amazing, beautiful parks. And I know in Austin, it has amazing, beautiful parks. So no matter where you are, you can go into nature. You can find a place where it can soothe you. There's all kinds of research out there that shows if you go out in nature, that it will help to reduce your stress. it will increase your immune system function, and it calms you. And so I always say, go take a walk. In fact, I'll put in the chat a link to a video that I did about it's my dog video. For some reason, it got the most YouTube, out of my YouTube channel. I didn't have to put my makeup on or anything. I just like videoed my dogs, and I had like 5,200 views on it. It was hysterical. But she has really good advice, which is going out in nature. The other thing I wanted to share was I know of a community, and was like involved with the community, an eco-spiritual community in Damen here. And they believe that the trees hold all of this intelligence. And that community was started quite a while ago. I think it was in the 70s. And now there's research out there that shows that there is communication all between the trees. And so it's actually scientific research that shows something that this community had been saying all along, how important the trees were for this intelligence that we had. And then there was the fabulous fungi. I think that movie, The Fabulous Fungi. Well, trees can't really grow without mycorrhizal, which is the fungus. And so their tree roots are all connected. So you just think about this intelligence of the trees. They're all talking to each other. There's all this communication, all this intelligence that we have no idea. We have no idea. And when I think about U Squared and Price Pritchard, who's in personal development and is a major management consultant in like I've always followed him in my career as an OD consultant. He basically talks about these unseen forces. So trees that can be part of these unseen forces that can support us and help us. So I think it's really important to be to have that understanding. And at one time I went with Damen here, and I was instrumental in getting them they had a directive to do. They didn't know how to do it, but I was like, well, I can do that. I was a forester. I'm like, yeah, we can get up there and see the bristlecone pine forest. Well, the bristlecone pine forest. So I basically took a group of Damen here people up to the bristlecone pine forest outside of Bishop, and they wanted to orient these trees and connect them to the temple of humankind. These trees are 9,000 years old. 9,000 years old. And let me see if I can do the screen share of this amazing tree. Can you see it?
Oh, yes. Whoa.
That's me, and that's my friend. And I mean, is that just the most amazing tree? It's huge. It is so huge. And there's quite a few of these trees around, and they're at about, 10,000 feet. You can go, it's outside of Bishop that you can go see these amazing, beautiful trees and be in their presence. So I just wanted to share that because it's pretty awesome.
So I have a question.
Okay.
That I think that you could answer is like, what can we do when there's fires, or we see the trees falling down because of tornadoes, and right now there's an ice storm going on, and I know that for me, and a lot of people around me too, that there's this panic for ourselves, and then when we see what's going on, what's happening out in nature to our homes and everything, what is something that you would suggest to calm ourselves down and to calm when we're seeing these things and that anxiety level gets like high? um, what could we do to get grounded and to know? What would you suggest? I know I'm throwing this at you right there, but I think that you might have a clue here.
I think there's one thing about, trusting the process, that on one level, the fires have gotten here as is because we've put fire suppression in a fire ecology place. So like, say, for example, in my beloved Sierra Mountains, there is, there's been a lot of fires. And the reason is because there's been so much fire suppression for all these years that the fires haven't naturally cleared everything out. So one is that fires are a natural part of the ecosystem. And being able to have more fires and also to take care of the forest. There's natural processes that have gone on for eons, that have kept the forests the way that they are. And those are the things that have been stopped, those natural processes, which is a fire ecology, which is fires going all the time through the forest, but burning at a very lower level because of the fuel buildup from suppressing fires. So now the fires are much hotter, much more intense, plus there's climate change. However, just to say some facts here is that probably 75% of the fires that are happening right now are because of forest practices and not because of climate change. So there needs to be more fires or some kind of practices. And I know here I live in this area that has, people have own large tracts of land. Even if they own a small amount of acreage, they're not really maintaining the forests in a way that keeps them healthy. And I think that's like a responsibility that you have, is that you just don't let the forest grow because there's not going to be those natural things that happen to it normally. And so you have to do things that are that you're going to go in and do to mimic nature. And that's that you need to, there's the natural pruning of trees by windstorms and things like that. The natural, trees die, trees fall over. That is happening. Of course, it's exacerbated by the climate and, drought and things like that, and fire suppression. I mean, I'm not an expert on it, but I know enough about it because I'm in forests. I'm like, that's what we deal with a lot. So I just want to say, you need to go in and you need to maintain your forest.
And I like what you said, is to trust the process.
Yeah, really trusting.
No matter where we are. And knowing where we are and how, and to be grounded, knowing that there's a higher power at work here.
Yeah.
And to trust that. So what I would like to end up with is
can I just say one more thing? Okay, so one of the things I thought was really amazing is that you can see that going out in nature has, in different spiritual traditions, has been a really important part of your evolution, if you will, right? That part of your growth, the vision quest, going out in nature, befriending nature, knowing that it's there to support you. And I went to the Alhambra in Spain, and on the peninsula there. And it was super cool because way back when, they have all these prayers written on all the walls. I mean, there's just prayers all over that are written, and there is nature everywhere. So there's courtyards, there's just all this amazing nature. And I was asking, well, what are the prayers? What are they saying? And it's like, they believed that you needed to go, if you felt anxious, not really grounded, you're feeling off, or you needed to make a decision to go into nature. And so that's why they had nature and water all around. They didn't even have to go very far. So all in, in the key, to really life is held in nature. I mean, this is like from the Alhambra that was built, thousands or I think it was 100 AD. Anyway, it's very old and ancient.
Wow. Well, thank you for thank you for bringing us out from within with your knowledge. And I love that, you're the forestry person. I know. And so what could we hold as a community of paradigm shifters for you and for your light out in the world? What would you love to have us hold for you and what you are about ready to do in 2023, 24, and beyond?
Well, I have a goal of supporting 1,000 people in, taking action on their dream, raising their awareness, and, helping people thrive. And so that's really my goal through my workshops, through my YouTube channel, through I do a lot of workshops, my speaking, through my coaching. So that is my goal, is to help people bring a light into their world, hope and light, like we were talking about earlier.
Oh, all right. I love it. I love light being. Okay, here you go. We're gonna get the energy going, and all you need to do is receive it all the way up to California. Boom.
Oh, I got it. I even have like sunlight on my third eye right there, right? Isn't that great? Woo! I can just move. There's my light. I got it. I got it.
Oh my gosh. And so it is. And so we let it be. And we're going to put that YouTube channel out on our Facebook page. I mean, that what with your doggies. And so, wow. Thank you so much for being here. It's always such a joy and a grounding pleasure to talk to you, River. Thank you so much.
All right. You too. You too. Thank you for bringing your light to the world.
Amen.